Hello, can you hear me? Yeah. Good morning. Ready to go.
Hi, Michelle.
Good morning. How you doing?
Pretty good. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm ready for today. I got all my lines drawn. I'm going to show for the people who didn't see it before how to do the triple stitch.
Oh,
And
good.
yeah, we'll go over that today. And then just work with what we're working with. That'll help. Then you don't have to do that much hand stitching. You know, it always helps. So
I know I don't want to do a lot. I was hoping you'd show the triple stitch again because I wanted to do that to the igloo.
oh, good. Yeah, because that's a lot. I mean, we could do it to the antlers and stuff on there. It looks like on the picture for this, she's got like a running stitch where it looks like a little dash line. So that
Yeah.
I know how to do on the machine, but I'm going to do that by hand. And then like his face, I'll do some little French knots for the eyes. And I am going to hand stitch his carrot nose.
I
So,
know. It's so cute.
yeah. But other than that, I'm ready to go. I think I'm
Me
going to start
too.
doing my door or the barn door. I'm just going to start, and then other people should be coming in soon. I think
Okay, then
there's
I mute myself and I'm going to start as well.
oh yeah. Yeah, because we're just most of this is going to be a review, and then next month will be a review too. And then on the very last month, we'll be doing all our blocks.
Yeah, I'm excited about that.
Yeah. Boy, it sure is windy outside today.
Oh my goodness.
I know, it's just going to town out here. Like, oh man.
My hair all over the place. I took the dog out before I came here and my hair was everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, me too. Oh my gosh.
Okay, I'm muting.
Okay. Love all the straight lines that we get to do, and it goes really fast. I see this block is going pretty fast, really, with the triple stitch around that stuff. Okay, I'll stop mine right there because I did one line that don't ask me why. I just decided to do one little line right there, and that was it. And I'm like, okay, well, let's wake up now. Okay, there's no one else to admit yet. That's kind of weird. We are starting. So yeah, it's 10 o'clock, or it's 9:58. Oh, there's Shell. Okay, we'll let her in. Get my knots done. Good morning, Shell. Nice to have you here today. Just about 10 o'clock. I just started because, other people are coming in and this is mostly going to be a review. So I just thought, why not? I'll just get started. So how are you doing?
I'm doing well. This project has been really fun.
Oh, good. Yeah, I like it too. Today I was, Dee's on here too. I was talking to her. We're going to go over, I'm going to show you again and review for people who haven't seen it before, the triple stitch, because I'm going to do that on the igloo because that's more hand stitching than I want to do. But, and you can also do the triple stitch on the antlers and stuff. So yeah, I'm going to go over that again, just in case if people, someone didn't see it on a previous get together.
I haven't done any hand sewing. I've been doing everything on the machine. I don't really
Have
like
you?
And so
Yeah. I know, and it turns out cute too. Do you use the triple stitch?
I've been doing it in IQ and just using shapes and building, like for the faces. Um, I did the triple stitch on some of them, for this hands on the snowman.
Uh-huh. So I wonder, does it do like a long zigzag stitch when
Well,
it gets to IQ?
you can apply the stitches. So you have choices between like you can do a running stitch to do the placement lines, and then you apply whatever kind of stitch you want. Like for the carrot, I did a triple stitch on the outside, and then I did a satin stitch on the inside.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. But like just a straight line, it does a running stitch. But is that thick enough?
Yeah, because it's got the satin fill. For like the
Oh,
arms of the snowman, I did a triple stitch and that turned out really well. For like the windows, I put a triple stitch in there. And
yeah.
yeah, it came out a lot better than hand sewing.
Oh, that's
I
awesome. Yeah, and you can just so do you have to hoop it or something, or you just set the line on there?
You do have to hoop it, yeah.
Okay. Okay. So I guess there's pros and cons to which either way.
Yeah, hooping's not bad. With a snap hoop, it goes
Yeah.
fast. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's good. Is that the snap hoop? Is that from Dime? Is that the
Mhm.
magnetic one? Oh, okay.
Yeah. You
I
just
have one of those.
you just have to be careful when you're taking it in and out. Like if you have a couple that you're doing, that you don't move the frame. I did that yesterday because I've been playing around with digitizing like
Uh-huh.
um, like the barn. So like everything's done in the hoop, and you just have to be careful that you don't move the fabric because I did that yesterday and then the stitches were off, so I had to rescan
Oh.
it and then take it out and redo it.
Oh, oh yeah, that would not be good. But it doesn't leave any, like when you normally hoop it, you can get a hoop burn, where you can see the rings. Does those magnetic ones don't do that, do they?
No, they don't, and that's what's so great about it because it's really thick too.
Yeah.
You have a lot of material in there, and so you don't get that hoop burn, but you just really have to be careful taking it in and out if you're doing it multiple times.
Right. Oh, that's good to know. I've always wondered about that. And how strong, another thing I wonder is how strong is the magnets? Because I've watched some YouTube things and I see people do it and it goes like snap. And I'm like, oh my God, that's a pretty strong magnet. Does it do that really?
The mighty hoops are a lot stronger. The magnetic hoops, they're strong, but usually when I'm quilting in the hoop, I'll use it's some kind of tape that you can put on the frame, so it helps keep everything on there. I can't remember the name of it, but Jeannie carries it in the store.
Uh-huh.
But they're strong, but they wouldn't hurt your finger.
Oh,
Well,
that's good.
I guess I don't know. I guess people could, but I've never had that
Yeah,
happen.
well, I seen one lady and she was just like, oh my goodness. It like snapped and she pulled her hands back really fast. And I was like, oh man, that would have hurt, I think. So but you're right though. She was using like a really huge hoop. I like my YouTube, I'm telling you. Let's see, where's my thread? Okay. All right, so I'm gonna get into, let's see, I was gonna try to get to this barn door, but you guys are mostly familiar with everything. Let's see, I'll pull that through. I'll make my knot. Yeah, I can't believe we only have like 2 months left on this project and we're gonna be done. I'm surprised. It went pretty fast. Oh, sorry. Okay, so I'm gonna rethread, and I want to use like I have this brownish color I'm gonna use for my lines on my igloo. I guess you could use a blue or something. I don't know. I'm gonna use brown just because that's what I thought of the first time, and that's what I have loaded on my machine. So it's gonna be brown no matter what.
If you use blue, would you use light blue or navy blue?
I would probably use like a light blue, like because of the color of ice,
Right.
because it's an igloo. So that's what I think.
Because I was thinking when you said that, I thought, oh, that might look really pretty.
I bet it would. But you know what? The only thing else in this block is his blue pants. So
That's
everything
true.
else is mostly like, well, green. There's brown in the bucket, but there's brown on the broom and there's brown on his boots and the
That's very,
reindeer's brown. I'm gonna use brown. I have dirty snow. So anyway, so I'm gonna come over here. This is on my crescendo, but it's baby lock. I don't know if you guys have the same. So I'm in my quilting tab. So I'm gonna go up here to my just my utility stitches. And then there on the number 5 is the triple stitch. So that's the one I'm gonna use. And what it does is I keep my open toe applique foot on and it pulls my needle way over to the left. So when I'm stitching, here, let me get this. It's hard. I have a camera right in front of my face. Not used to stitching with a camera right there.
I can only imagine.
Yeah, I don't want it to bounce all over. So, okay, so I can go ahead and I'll sink my needle right where I want to. Well, what it's going to do, let's see. Okay, I'm going to sink it right where I want to because it's going to cut, the stitch will come forward, back, and forward. But you got to watch when you end at the end, your first stitch, when it comes up, that's normally your back stitch. So you'll be coming forward, back, and then forward. So you'll lose one part of that stitch when you end and start over, unless you want to like go back to a straight stitch and then pop this back on again, and then it'll start over in the sequence. So let me drop that. What I mean, see, the stitch went forward and then it'll go back and then forward. Normally I put it on real low. I put it on like a 1.5, and I think I'm going to put it on a 1.8 because it just gives me the look that I like. Doesn't look like long stitches. It just looks like nice little short stitches. And it takes a little bit longer, but I don't mind. And then I can just zip along. And then I use like this edge of my foot right here as a guide. So I let that line run right along that edge. So I don't even really look at my needle. I look at where my foot is with the line. And then it follows that line really good. Because I just hand drew these on here. My lines are not straight. And I kind of like it that way. Okay, now I'm getting to the end, so I'm going to slow down. Looks like I have this stitch and one more. See, then here's the back stitch and then my forward stitch. So my next stitch technically is going to be a forward stitch. So once my needle goes down, my next stitch after that will be back. So I'll show you what I do here. So let me cut this and let me deal with my threads. And I'm just going to tie knot. I got to sink them to the back and then tie knots. If I can find the end of this one, it's super long. Okay. Okay. Wow, I have like a mile of thread. Get rid of that. It makes it harder. So funny, the weather looks so bad, but you know what? It's really not cold outside. To me, I mean, and trust me, I'm like never cold though. Okay. But nice and windy and cloudy and nasty. I think Mother Nature's spreading her seeds all over the place. I guess we need that.
Particularly the weed seeds.
I know my neighbor has a ton of weeds in his yard, and I was looking and go, and his sprinkler was on, and my car is right there, and it's windy, and all his sprinkler came right on my car, and I'm like, well, there you go.
Thanks.
What can you do? You know, whose fault is
Right.
that? Nobody's. You can't help it. He's such a nice guy. He would never want to do that. Okay, so now what I'm going to do, so since I'm coming back in, I don't know. I hope you guys can see this. I'm going to try to get as close as I can. Let's see. Oh, see, it wants to pop down here. So what I'm going to do, let me get my little purple thing and I'll try pointing it out. I'm going to start with, and right here, I'm just using the hand wheel on the side of my machine, because if I start right at the very end, like this one, I started right on the end of this fabric. But this one, I don't want to. I want to start a stitch in, because I know my very next stitch is going to go back and then forward, and then I'm going to start my sequence and come to the end. So what I'll do is with my hand wheel, I'm going to come up on just about as long as my stitch is, and then I'm going to sink my needle right there. So I just put my needle down, and then if you'll see, it's going to go backwards. See, it took a backward stitch, and now that backward stitch came right out to the end where I wanted it. So, and then I can start my next line. And that's the only thing, you know, that's the only difference. And if you're not comfortable with that, like I said, you can always like change your stitches up. Like I'm on, it's a number 1-05. You can go back to your like 1-01 and then go back to the 105, and it will change the sequence on your machine to start where it starts. It'll come forward, back, forward. But that's just another step. I mean, I just pull my needle forward one stitch and go for it. Then I don't have to keep switching stitches on my machine, but either way is really easy for both of them. And I used a friction pen on this, so any lines that I miss, I'm gonna just iron away. There. And friction aren't normally the first pen I go for. I usually just go for a chalk pencil, because I'd rather just brush the stitches away than have to get up an iron and stuff. But with this, I wanted you guys to be able to see it. Does anyone have any questions or anything?
No, not now.
Okay, because if you do, you just hit your space bar, I believe, on your computers. And then if you have a tablet or something, I think it's on the bottom, and you just go, where do you go? I think it's to your microphone, and then you unmute it, and then you can talk. Because we're starting to get toward the end, ladies. And that means we're almost done. If you have any questions on anything, on any of the other blocks, or on our next block, or, you know, on your scan and cut, how to, you know, do any of that, let me know. I'd be very happy to help you.
Michelle, I have a question. It's Shelley. I'm on a luminaire, and on the quilting stitches, there's two different ones that have the blanket stitch, and one of them faces the right way, but it's a lot tighter. If you're using that tighter one, what would you set it at? I did like a 2.5, and it was so together that it was too much.
And also, yeah, there's two different quilting stitches. On the quilting stitches, let me pull my needle up. On the quilting stitches, one of them, I'll use, let me show you, because I'm looking on my crescendo. I believe they're very similar. Okay, I have like a Q12, and that stitch is different. See, then I have the Q13 and a Q14. you have to practice on your stitches a little bit. I use the Q12, and what the Q12 does when I'm stitching it out, it will go forward 2 stitches. It'll go stitch, stitch, then it goes over. It does the width, and then stitch, stitch, and then a width. The other ones, it will take a stitch like almost like a triple stitch, because it comes forward, back, forward, over, over, forward, back, forward, over, over. So that'll give you a lot of thread buildup. And it's great if you want to see that thread. If you don't, then you would probably use the other one that just comes forward a couple stitches. And then on those, what I do is I make it, I think the default on mine is 2.0 width and 2.0 length. But that means both of my forward running stitches would be 2.0, 2.0 with a 2.0 over. I don't like that, because that's too long of a length before I get a little tack down stitch. So what I do is I make the length a little bit shorter to where both those stitches will look because I like my length and my width the same, to look the same. So in order to do that, my length would have to be shorter, since there's 2 stitches, and to my width. So I always take out a piece of scrap fabric and I practice on it, and I see which stitch I want to use, what result I want to get. And then I practice and I mess around with the length and the width to make sure it's what I want. And if it's a project like this one that I'm doing, that I come back to at different times, because some of those projects just go on and on. Please, I'm still doing red, white, and bloom with Kimberbell. My goodness. But anyway, so I write down what it is that I like, and I write down that project, and I can just use a little sticky note or something, put it on my sewing machine. So the next time I sit down for this project, I don't have to always do the practice stitches. I can just go ahead and just sit down, do my width and length, and then I'm all set to go, and it matches for what I had done before. Does that answer your question?
It does. Thank you. I think you just nailed it, because there's so much time in between working on each block that
Yeah.
I've been kind of forgetting of what I set the last one on. So thank you.
Sure. Yeah, I've got a little camper project. Oh my gosh, I think I started it 4 years ago, and I'm still doing it, and it's super cute. It's from Amy Bradley, and it's like 6 little campers. Oh my God, it's so adorable. And I have that sitting there, and it's been next to my sewing machine forever. I really need to pick that back up too and just get it done. But the stitch and the thread on that is black. It's a lot of real light color fabrics, but the applique stitches are one of the main focal points even of the whole project. And it's what makes it super cute. So I really wanted those to be the same. So yeah, I better get it done, because I know me, I will end up losing that piece of paper one of these times. But you can always go back, and you can always practice and find it, but it's kind of a pain in the what when you have to keep doing that. Okay, I'm gonna just get see, there's a lot of tying off when you do this, but it's kind of the nature of the beast. This is this project, I do like hand stitching myself, but this is kind of a lot for this project. So I'm going to only do hand stitching on the snowman, and then the rest, and like the antlers. Oh, on the running stitch behind the reindeer, I'll do hand stitching too, because I like that little dash line. So can you do that on the IQ? Does it make a dash line?
Sorry, Michelle, I was getting up to get some water. Yeah, I did like a triple stitch. I'll have to show you. I think it turned out okay.
Oh, yeah, but does it do a dashed line though? Does it like go and stop and leave little spaces in between?
I think so.
That would be so, ooh, I should use that. I've got a Destiny at home, so I've got the IQ. And honestly, I really don't use it very much. I would love to though. You know, when I can find the time. You know how that goes. Let's see. Some little pieces on this one, like Rudolph's nose, and then that little star. So what I'm going to do on that is I'm going to make my blanket stitch real. I'll make the length shorter and the width shorter. This project's pretty friendly, really, in that way, because there's so many different pieces I adjust. I don't keep the same stitch length. I do like on the campers because they're all bigger pieces and I want it real uniform. This has a lot of small pieces in it too. So when I get to small pieces, then I'll adjust the width and the length. Sometimes just the width, depending. And then it still looks good because like on this snowflake, I adjust just the stitch that goes over. I leave the length because these snowflakes are a lot. So I leave the length kind of long and then I just do a little stitch. So, and it works, you know. This igloo's going by pretty fast, really. It's all the down things that are going to have a lot of tie offs. Uh-oh, I couldn't. Darn it, I didn't want to hit that button. Okay, so let's see. Yeah, if you could put a picture of that, I'd love to see the dashed lines. If you could put a picture like on the Facebook group or something, that would be awesome.
I'll show it to you sometime, Michelle. I don't really do Facebook. I'm not a
Oh,
Facebook person.
oh, okay. Yeah, she's got the group for us. I thought that would be fun. So, but a lot of people don't like posting pictures. I do. I don't mind. So is everybody caught up with their blogs? Or are you guys kind of just waiting and we're gonna work on them all at once? Or well, I just wonder how you guys are doing.
I'm caught up.
Oh, good. Yeah, this project is so stinking cute.
It is, and so it's one of those projects you want to do.
Yeah, that's what I think. Okay. I think I'll start doing my little pieces too. Get Rudolph's nose done. And it's a circle, so we can kind of review that. I just go slow on that stuff. And on that, I do make my stitches really short. Let's see here. Okay, well, that's enough on that. I'm going to go ahead and change my thread back out to the thread I use for everything, except for that. And I'm going to start doing the little pieces. Okay, so now I'm going to go back to my applique stitch, and this one I'm going to put my length on like a 1.4, and I'm going to put the width on a 1.25. Let's see, we'll do his nose. Yeah, that looks. I stop like after every stitch, especially on something this small and round. You get nice. I think I want my width a little bit. I'm going to put it on 1.5. Yeah, that's good. There's a new project too. It's which I want to do. I want Jeannie's ordering it for me, and it's Lori Holt. And I know you guys are going, oh my God, not another project. But really, yes.
You know it.
Yeah, it's Lori Holt, and it's not a big quilt or anything. It's called, it's called, what is it called? Something about in the garden, and they're flowers, and they're like individual blocks. I think they're like 8 inches wide by maybe 10 inches tall or something. And there's flowers. Yeah. And it's just as you can do a single block, or you can make a, I think there's like 6 different flowers, and then there's 6 different vegetables. And I know me, I want to do them all, and I want to put them in a quilt and have them all together. But you can also do like one at a time, and you can make that into a little wall hanging.
That
So
sounds
you
cute.
can kind of just dip your toe in the Lori Holt stuff to see how she does it and her applique methods, and to see if it's something that you like. And it's also a really easy project. So it would just be like a one class deal. Oh, I didn't get all my threads. So I'm kind of seeing if Jeannie will let me do that. And I bet she will, because she's always open to new stuff. So
That sounds cute, actually.
it is. It's really cute. She's got all her fabrics, they're all like, I call them real happy fabrics, because they're really bright, pretty colors. Even her Christmas stuff, her reds are real cheerful, and
Yes.
and everything. So I like that.
I like her fabrics.
Yeah, I do too. So see there, and then there's I don't know if you can really see the nose, but there's the nose. And I just took my time and went around everything. Now I'm going to make it a little bit bigger. I'm going to make the length a 1.8 and the width a 1.75 for this star, because it's a little bigger. I want to get through it sometime today. So
You said a 1.8 for the width and a 1.75 for the star.
for the star, the length is, I have it a 1.8, and the width I put at 1.75.
Okay.
Yeah, that seems to be really nice. And then look, I'm right at the very tip of that star. So you can either take another stitch and come out, but that's going to extend me past where I want to go. I'm so close to the end. So what I'm going to do to really just help secure that point on that star, I'm going to just come this way and I'm going to take my straight stitch right over the top of that point. And it's not going to get rid of my point at all. See, and then it'll come back. That's my width stitch. Then 1, 2. See, I call it like my zig and zag stitches. My straight stitch, and then I'll have another straight stitch, and then a zigzag, zig and zag. So you always got to really watch where you're going. See, it's doing the same thing here. And then if I want to, see, because that's going to cover that whole end point, because I have one more, I could right now lower my width to like a 1.25. So I'll have just a little bitty zigzag stitch and then go back up to my 1.75 on my next stitch. So you can adjust throughout, you know, you don't have to leave the stitch the same just because you're stitching it. If you get to a point where it's real small, real narrow, you can just adjust it. You don't have to take your needle up or nothing. So these machines are pretty nice. And we're using that really fine thread. So a lot of the thread, you know, you don't even see it. Really. Let's see. Oh, there. Okay. To the end. Yay. That had a lot of twists and turns. That was almost as good as the Snowflake.
Thank you, Michelle, for letting me back in. My computer went
Oh.
out and I didn't know what happened. And so I tried getting back in. I guess it's been about 15 minutes. So I'm in
No.
again. Thank you.
I'm glad you're here. I noticed you were gone. I thought, oh, she must have had stuff to do. But I'm glad you're back.
I have a couple of questions at the end of class so I don't interrupt the lesson. So I'll ask at the end of class.
Oh, please ask them now. I honestly, when you guys don't ask questions, I got to find things to say.
Plus,
Okay.
some,
I'm
we all,
almost ready to start sewing. I thought I was, and I gave it a try, but not there yet. Hopefully in another month or so. So by the time you're finishing, I'll be ready to start. But I've been watching the videos, and with the scan and cut, I have the with the standard mat. What blade should I use? I have all the blades, so I'll use whichever blade you tell me to. I have the new one.
Always use my fabric blade. Just the tan, the one with the tan cap. I use that one.
Okay, okay, with the standard mat. Okay.
Yeah, I use my low tack mat. And then remember, you got to look at the way if the pieces are reversed or not. Like if this with the reindeer, if it's reversed and you have your fabric down, then you want to make sure the way it cuts, because you may have to go in and reverse it on your scan and cut.
Okay, thank you. I just wanted to make sure I did it correctly. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Okay, so see now this one, I'm going to start right here so that I can go around this way, and then I can come this way and do my entire, you know, I don't have to stop and break thread until I'm right here, and that'll get me all that way. And then I'll start back up again right there and come all the way around. Then my reindeer will be done. So I try to look for that and see what will be the easiest way, so I don't have to keep stopping, because you guys know I always triple knot my threads on the back, having to pull them through and all that. And you know what? I'm going to change to my 2.0 because now I'll be doing a little bit bigger section, and I think I'm going to be just as happy with that. Yeah. So I have a 2.0 width and a 2.0 length, and I like it. I think it looks good. I'm coming around a curve, so I want to go a little slower. I want to stay off my fabric because remember, we can shred our fabric pretty easy with that needle if you get on the fabric of the applique piece and not the background piece. So have you cut out any of your pieces on the scan and cut yet?
Of this, no. The physical therapy is fantastic, but it's just really hard for me to use my hand, especially, you know, for smaller pieces and just
Oh,
really the prep. It's just, the
oh,
doctor said it'll be probably at least another year or longer before I have full use of my hand. But
oh.
yeah, so
Well,
it's a long process.
yeah, but it'll be worth the wait once you get your hand back, you know. Thank God.
Yes, yes,
Thank God you get your hand back. Some people
yes.
have issues that they don't get
Yeah.
their hand back. So, yeah.
So I'm very optimistic, and the physical therapy has been fantastic. So
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. Well, I'm sorry that you haven't been able to do this. But you know, when you do finally start, and if you have questions, you can still get a hold of me. I don't care if it's a year, even a year later. Just, you know,
thank you.
I would be very, very happy to help you with anything you need. So
Thank you.
you're
Yeah,
welcome.
it's really hard when you've sewn every single day, and then all of a sudden it's been 6 months now since I've sewn.
You know what? I would go crazy. I mean,
Yes.
sewing is my therapy. I mean, you know, you see that on a shirt.
Yes.
Oh yeah, but it really truly is. You know.
Yep.
Oh goodness. Okay, now I've lessened my stitch length and my width going around the ears. My length is 1.6 and my width is 1.5 because these ears are pretty small and I don't want to shred them. My needle going in there. So I'm going to go really slow. And I've got to really concentrate on where my stitch is at, if it's on a zigzag or not. Oh my gosh. And I have to tell you guys, last time I was finishing up my block. Okay. If you've been into A1 and you've seen the block up there and I have like a grease mark on it, I about died. I have to show you what I did. Okay. Let me get it Kleenex. Because I was zipping around and I think I was doing my snowflake up here on the needle bar, or it was on this bar for, you know, the presser foot bar. There's grease up there and it's just normal grease. And if you don't wipe things off, see that grease that's on there? Well, it got on my project. So please wipe off your needle bars. That my needle bars looks okay, but my presser foot bar had a little bit of grease on it. See, but that much. That's just enough. If you get it on, even on the gray, it shows up. So please, every now and then, because this is a big project and I was going along and it got folded up, you know, kind of like this. And I went around because because like I go around and it gets kind of big, so I'll roll it and stuff because it's big area, because I just want to have control. And that's what I did. And this piece of fabric got up there, and I mean, as it will, it just is what it is. But that happened and I was like, oh my gosh, I about died. I was going, because this, we have a lot of work in this project, and I certainly don't want grease or oil on my project. So I wanted to tell you guys that, to please, if you think about it, just take a Kleenex or something, or an old piece of batting or something that you have, and just wipe that down whenever you think about it, because it'll happen when you least expect it.
Thank you.
You are welcome. That was like horrible. Oh, and I mean, I tried to get it off, but I can still see it, and if you look, you might be able to see it. But I'm going to bring this one down to the shop. She likes, once I finish it, she wants to hang it. So it's on that board, when you walk into the store, so you can see it. But you got to get that one out of there because there's grease all over. No, it's not that bad, really. But I did not like that. And if you have not wiped it off for a long time, or if you've never wiped it off, it could be, could be pretty good. It could make a pretty good dent in whatever project that you're working on, because it's just normal too. You cannot stop it. And when you wipe it off once by just the normal wearing, up and down, there's gear oil and stuff in there, that when you get your machine serviced, they just redo that so that everything runs nice and smooth. So you need that in there. It's kind of like a necessary evil, but it can really kind of come back on you. So just whenever you think about it, just run something over that, and hopefully that will help save your projects. Okay, I have to thread my needle and get this one. God, this reindeer is so cute. And it's Rudolph. Wow. Rudolph always trying to outdo Frosty, right? All right. So let's see. Oh my gosh, it's already 10:45. Okay, so we got about 15 minutes left. Now let's see. Is there anything else on here that will, I don't know, that's, most of this is all review anyway. So since we're this far into the project, so is there anything that you guys want to go over and do? Should I do my snowflake or something?
Do the carrots.
The carrots? Okay, I'll do the carrots. Okay, so that's going to be another one that I'm going to go slow around. And I'm going to look and see what is going to be my best course of action with these carrots. I think I'm going to start over here, and I'm just going to go around the carrots like this. Then I can actually come around and go like this and finish off that top bar. And I might even just come down and do it like this. Come and do this side with that. But I'm going to have to come back and do this. This one's going to be a lot of stitching. But that's what I'm going to do. So for sure, I'm going to start here, and I'm going to go really slow, and I'm going to adjust my stitch length. And then when I come back down to here, I'll make them a little bigger. And then I'll get up to the carrot greens, and I'll make them a little smaller like that. And then when I get down here, I'll probably do the 2.0 again right there. I may stop there. No, I don't know. I'll see when I get there. Okay, so let me make sure I got my tails good and long. They are. And I have a 2.0, 2.0, length and width. And I'm going to go slow because we got a lot of curves. You know, them curvy carrots. I grew carrots every year in my garden. Let me see. I'm going to do a 1.5 and a 1.5 width and 1.6 length. Let's see what that looks like. I like the 1.5 width. Oh yeah, that'll work. And some of those carrots, boy, I mean, I try planting carrots in a row, I'm telling you, and they never stay that way because, of course, you know, we're in Nevada, we have a ton of wind. So I always end up with like a carrot patch, carrot bush all over the place. And those carrots, man, they start knotting together and they get all twisted and stuff. But they're still good, so I eat them anyway. My dogs love carrots, especially out of the garden. Crazy dogs. Yeah, see this? You got to go slow around these carrots. Yeah, I got my fabric, see my fabric now, it's getting all bunched up and around. That's what happened because I was not paying attention to where it was going up here and just going along, bunching it all up. There, now I'll go back to a 2.0, 2.0. So I can do the bigger part of the carrots. Oop. There. Now this, I don't want my zigzag stitch to come out in that yellow. So I am going to turn my whole project where I know where it goes. And it lays right on that carrot. And it's right where I wanted it. I'm going to go back down to 1.75 and 1.6, or was it 1.5? No, 1.75. See, I always have to write these down. I didn't write it down. Yeah, it's 1.75. I'm sorry. Oops. I moved the right. Well, you can't see it. I moved mid zigzag stitch. But I can't see it, so that's okay. Maybe it's just my bad eyes, but it's all right. It's good enough. Oops. That'll come off my end of my carrot. Not too bad though. I'm mutilating my carrots, you guys. Okay, now I'm going to go back up to 2.0. Yeah, these carrots are a challenge. I know why I'm not paying attention to my stitches. I need to pay attention to my 1, 2 zigzag. Okay. Okay. 1.75 and 1.6. I think I like the snowflake better than I like the. This is like a pain in the keister.
Michelle, also for the snowflake, did you end up using Shape Flex and Heat and Bond ultimately, or just the Heat and Bond?
On the other ones, let me see. On the other ones, I did Shape Flex and Heat and Bond. On this one, I only did Heat and Bond. And I'm happy with how it turned out. Because my blade, oh, that's another thing I want to tell you guys. Thank you for bringing that up. My blade, here, let me show you. I'm sorry, this thing keeps moving. I'm moving my fabric all over. On my blade, let me grab it. Where is it? Where is it? There it is. Okay, here's my fabric blade. And I'm going, oh my God, it is so awful. It's nasty. It was shredding my flannel. The other fabric, it was working really good on, but my flannel was just shredding. And I go, okay, my blade is just dull. I need a new blade. So I went and got a new blade. Well, I got one of these. I thought that was the new blade. No, it's not. They sell these. It's just a holder. And I went to cut it out and I was going, oh, this is just a holder. There's no blade in it. So I got a new blade and I took this off. And there's your blade. I don't know if you guys know, changing your blade out. It's be careful because it's just this. It just pops right out. That's your blade. Okay. Well, when I opened this up and then I'm like, okay, and see how I just set the cap down just like that. And here I'm looking at it and I come back, I put my new blade in and I looked on my table and there was all this white fuzz and thread and everything. And I'm going, what is that? And I go like this. There was a bunch of stuff. It was all wrapped around the blade. So this is my old blade still. And my new blade, all you have to do, that's how you do it. You just unscrew it and take the old thing out. So I did not use my brand new blade. I cleaned this out. There was so much lint and fuzz and especially the flannel in there. Once I cleaned that out, I cut my flannel and then here's my snowflake. And it looks really good. Yes, there was a couple spots. I took my scissors, I think, and I snipped it up, made it clean, but I mean, just check. You may not need a brand new blade. You may just need to open this up and look and see. There may just be lint and dirt and fuzz and stuff stuck in there. So anyway, I wanted to share that.
Thank you.
Yeah. So anyway, oh, now I have to go back and do this. Oh my gosh, I'm not done with the carrots yet. Uh-oh. There, okay. Lead foot on my thing. Okay. Wow, I'm be glad when my carrots are done. Ta-da. There, now I'm back at 2.0, 2.0.
Thank you for doing that because I was dreading those carrots.
Yeah, luckily they're just like an inch and a half long by 3/4 of an inch high. But on the other hand, they're about an inch and a half long by 3/4 of an inch high. At least it's not that much. Okay, then I'm gonna go over that edge there. All right, now I can just zip right through. Yep, I'm on 2.0, 2.0, checking again. Yeah, once these are done and you wash these quilts, a lot of all the heat and bond and the glue and everything that's on the back of the SF-101, all that stuff is going to be very soft, and it's not going to be, you know, real stiff and rigid. Because right now, these blocks are very stiff, I have to admit. But it's really helping us get things right and keeping all our applique and, you know, where we want it. So, you know, I guess that's the trade-off. Let's see. I'm not going to go over those stitches. I don't want it to show that much. So I'm going to cut thread right here. And then I will start again. My bucket. Let's see. Okay. Let's see what else. So we've gone over, okay, our triple stitch and stitches. Yeah, the rest of this is just going to be pretty easy, really. Just watching what we're doing. When you go around the snowman scarf, that looks like another fun one. It's kind of small. Always when you get to small pieces, you know, it gets a little, you just have to, you know, lower your stitch length and go slow. We're not in a race with anybody. So I always I love getting projects, you know, I've already told you guys this, where I can just sit down and you don't have to keep getting up and you don't have to cut everything. Well, you cut this, but once it's done, you can just sit down and you don't have to keep getting up and ironing seams and all that stuff. So that's always, I like that. That's always nice. Let me look at this. Yeah, the rest is going to be very familiar to you guys from the last blocks that we've done. If you want to add any dimension, you could, like, you know, put little stitches down where the broom is, you know, if you go down those lines, maybe just with a regular straight stitch, that would pop out the balloon, that would pop out the broom handle or the straw. That would look cool. You could also go around that little pocket right there if you want. That would look cute too. But there's so much applique on this. By the time I get to the point where I'm done, I'm like, yeah, the pockets look great just the way they are. And that room looks really nice, so I leave it. So let's see. All right, looks like it's 11 o'clock, ladies. Does anyone have any other questions or anything?
No, thank you, Michelle.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you. I've had a really fun time today. And,
Thanks.
you know, if you guys have any questions, you can contact me, you know, on the Facebook group or through Jeannie if, you know, you'd like. She can give you my number and stuff. Or you can just call me. My number is 775-813-3269. I'd be happy to talk to you about it anytime. And even if it takes you, you know, months to get to it, you are welcome to call me anytime. I would be very, very happy to help you. Again, any of
Thank
you
you
guys.
very much. Thank you.
You, Michelle.
Thank you. I just love sewing. So if I can help you guys, it makes me happy. So, all right. Well, I guess that will conclude for today. And I look forward to next month. And then that will be our block 6. And that will be all our blocks. And then our 7th month, that will be an actual class. If you want to do that, you don't have to, but if you're comfortable with stars, you are welcome to finish up the border and stuff. That will be our last class. We're going to be doing all our stars. We'll have to have all those cut out, and then I'll show you how to put those together. And also I'm going to show you I'll have my 6 blocks put together. I'm going to show you how to measure the quilt, but I'll go over all that next month too. So I'm just kind of giving you a heads up now, but we'll go over this again. We'll at the end of our 6 months, we'll put all our 6 blocks together. And then in the 7th month, we'll do the stars and their star borders. So we're going to measure our quilts for the borders and how to put those borders on so that you'll have a nice flat quilt. I don't think I'm really going to go over the binding. We're not going to be at that stage. I'd be happy to help you guys with the binding. I don't remember if I have a binding, if she has it like on a Tuesday, one of her Technique Tuesdays. I think Jeannie has a binding class, but if you have questions, we can go over some of that too. But that's kind of a heads up for the rest of these 2 months that we'll be working on this to finish this quilt.
Well, thank you very much.
Okay, well, thank you, you guys. I'm gonna let you go, and I look forward to next month.
Okay, bye.
Bye bye. You guys take care. Bye bye.